Guys, welcome to another video tutorial with me, Claris. In this video, this is the part 5 to the flower color guide series that I've been doing. This is based off a quick painting sketch, so to speak, that I did a while back. It is the image you saw in the opening of this video, and we are going to be doing, drum roll, I have it marked here with my Stationery Pal leaf pen. We are doing Grevillea, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And this is on page 329. These are cute, wiry looking elements, which I think would add great texture and shape to our set of florals. So let's get started. Walking you through my list of supplies that I've got here. Obviously, I've got the flower color guide that we're referencing. For my brushes, I'm using a combination of the Princeton round number 6, and then from the Zen Art Supplies, I'm using the miniature number 1. And for my paper, I am using the Paul Rubens sketchbook. And would you believe it? How fitting is this? I'm on the last sheet. The previous one we did was Fritillaria, and now we're on the last sheet. So I think this was just meant to be perfect. I've got water ready. I've got paper towel handy. As per usual, I am using my set of 36 White Nights, which is right here. And because this flower's got like a lot of quote-unquote, lack for a better word, confusion happening in the center, I think it'll be simplistic and sticking with our loose style if we go with 3 colors. And the 3 colors that I am proposing are going to be the Carmine or Madder Lake Red or Ruby, any of these reddish hues really. I'm probably going to go with a combination of Carmine and maybe the Ruby, because that's what I think that is. Then we are going to be using yellowish green, and I'm going to be using burnt umber, and I'll be mixing the two to get my green and variations depending on how dark I want the green. And then also there's the stem itself is a little bit of a browny color, and if you really look on the insides or towards the center of these flowers where all the confusion is happening, it's a mixture of the green and a little bit of the brown. So that's where my head space is at in terms of breaking that down for you, okay? So once again, Carmine, Ruby, or Madder Lake Red. I'm using Carmine and Ruby. And then a mixture of yellowish green and burnt umber, all right? So I've just mixed some of the yellowish green and the burnt umber, and this is perfection in my opinion, this green. Love this green. I might just get a little bit of the yellowish green directly from the color cake as I'm painting, just for a slight variation, but this is perfect right there. And I'm going to wash this off and get more of that burnt umber just so we can get more of a browny look for our stem. So something like that. This might be a little bit too intense, but mixing it up with that green here might work. So I'm going to wash this off, get a little bit of Carmine and Ruby, and then we are good to go. So here we go with the Carmine. And I think what I'll do is I'll just take, using the miniature brush, I'll be taking color directly from the color cake again for this, because it's really fine and wiry. Okay, so we're ready to begin. I'm going to start off with using my miniature number 1, and we're going to start by doing the stem, some of the leaves, and we'll keep the main floral area for the very end. So I've got my miniature brush ready, and we're going to go get some of that brown, which is right here. I'm going to get a little bit of that green. And then we'll do our first stem, which is kind of resembling this guy right here. So Taking it all the way down. Adding a little bit of a darker hue to the stem here. And then it's got these little dancing bits of leafy stems coming out. So that's what I'm doing. I got a little bit of the brown and I'm gonna paint in some of these stems. And once the stems are done, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get more green so we can get some nice green leaves happening. So here we go. I've got some green on it and just dipping the tip of my brush in water, getting a lighter hue. Now we don't need to press down too much on the brush to get these leaves because we want them to be thin and fine, just like so. And I'm not going to do any overlapping leaves as indicated in the book, just to keep this simple for people just starting out. We don't need to complicate things if it's not truly needed. And we can improvise for our whatever we find challenging. So if we're not copying it exactly as is in the book. Okay, so we've got that done. And now we're gonna go ahead and I just wanna fluff a little more over here. So I'm just gonna lightly add some little stems here and there. And then just adding a couple of leaves to make it look fuller. Okay, so now that we've done this, we're going to move on to doing the center of this flower. And so for the center, we're going to add a little bit of a wash and in an elongated manner. So for this part now, let's just do a quick practice. So I've moved the sheet, I've moved the book up so you can see my practice sheet. And we're going to start off, I've got that leftover color as I mentioned. So here, let's just do a little bit of a, I was going to say taste test, color test to see how that looks. So the inner portion needs to be more of an elongated sort of shape. And I'm roughly painting that in. I've got more of my green on here and that is okay. So that's kind of what the shape should look like. And then I'm just going in and adding some of the brown that I also have. And then at the top, it looks like you've got more of that green happening. And then I'm just going to add a couple of the green strokes, almost like a, I'm doing this to the edges to kind of give it that prep for the flowers, or the red that we have coming up. And now I'm going to go ahead, get some of the carmine, and let's zoom in for this. There we go, we're zoomed in. Okay, so I'm just going to start off with adding a couple of lines. So you're just using the tip of your brush and you're going to go ahead and add a ton of like cute little strokes just like that on the inside while it is still a bit damp, and you're trying to aim to get that nice blended look. So it does need to be a little bit damp so you can get some hard edges, some kind of blending in with the green brown that we have in there. And you're sort of continuing on throughout, not too much, leave some of the green to be visible. And then we're going in, getting more of that nice pink hue, and we're doing our lines. So grazing very lightly, no pressure on your brush, and just at the tips of that you're just kind of adding a little dot. Now the nice thing about this is that you can just go crazy with the amount of these things you want to add in. you're not looking for, it doesn't need to be a certain manner. Like you could have them all over the place. And they're kind of these wiry little guys. So you can, the reference image helps because now you can kind of see where things should go, can go. You can have some overlapping. And I am using a combination of those two colors, as I mentioned. You can have some happening right in the middle, and that's how you're getting that intense red. And it is still damp for me, and so I'm getting a nice blend going on, which is great. I'm gonna get some more color directly from my color cake this time and intensify what's happening here. And then now I'm switching, getting some of my ruby. And I would definitely suggest practicing because you can see what's happening here with some of my strokes. They're a tad bit thicker than some of the other ones, and that's okay. It's just that if you're not used to brush control and if you're really pressing down, it would definitely help to do a little bit of a practice sheet session, just going and creating little lines like this to get that nice thinness. That's all you're doing really for this. So if it's better for you to just take a sheet and just go really crazy trying to get different thicknesses of your strokes, then do that. You can get some super thick, you want light. That's what we're aiming for with this guy here, right? So practice that, and then let's get back to finishing. So I'm going to use the number 6 to kind of get that shape that I showed you, and then we'll move on. Now it doesn't matter what color I have, even if I have some of the red, it's okay because I want it to be light and I'm going to be mixing some of the brown in with it. So it's fine. I just need that shape, that nice elongated shape. We can get some of that green in there as well. Just adding it in and around. Just like that. It's perfect. And then I mentioned going in and getting some nice little strokes in there. So that's what we're going to do. Using the number 1. Getting some more green on my brush. I don't know what you want to call this shape, but it is still damp, and that's why everything is blending in super quick, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm going to add a semblance of a thick green stroke in here, and then we can move on to doing the red part for this. So again, I'm going to get my color directly from the color cake. So I'm just going to dampen it first, and then we're doing our light little strokes. Okay, so here we go. Some of them are kind of like twisted. Overlapping one another. But most of them are fairly like facing upward in the same direction, really. So just make sure that the tip of your brush is fairly liquidated. So this way, when you're doing your quick strokes, you're not getting anything dry, but you're getting a smooth finish. Yeah, so I think I'll do the outer parts of these guys first before going and doing the inside, because the inside is still very damp. So as I'm doing my strokes in the inside, it's just drying up, and that's not what I really want. And by drying up, I mean it's seeping into the rest of it and it's not giving me that shape that I want, the outline. So now this is working better, yep. And so you're just going around and doing this throughout the flower. This is not the easiest, I understand, but definitely give it a couple of goes before you, instead of calling quits. We're not calling anything quits right now, right? Because we want to come back for the next video where we're going to be putting all of these flowers together and creating our own little bouquet. So we're going to try and paint our version of this cute flower. Let me get a little bit of the ruby and then I think we are good. Adding some of the ruby color in here. I'm just adding quick strokes to the side as well here. And this way it looks like there's some nice red happening and it's a loose style of fluffing this part of the flower up. And I think we're good. Yep, and that is it. I won't do anything else to this. If you want to keep on going and adding a couple of strokes of the red or the carmine into the bottom, you can. But I think otherwise we've got the whole flower. And here's the flower. So that's what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and create a couple more, but I hope this was helpful in helping you figure out the strokes, the colors, and just sort of I guess the importance of making sure that you add the inner strokes at the right time before it gets damp, or just at the end of while it is drying up. Before it gets dry is what I meant to say. Excuse me. All right, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was the last part to the 5-part series of the flower color guide. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this, and I'm looking forward to doing the next video where we're going to be putting all of this together and creating everything, well, creating a little bouquet from everything that we've learned over the last 5 videos. So I hope you guys like this. Please hit that like button, and please make sure that when you do this that you tag me so I can see your work. I would love to see your work, guys. And if you've not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe. And yeah, that's it. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll chat soon. Bye.